Sympathy and empathy are often confused. What's the difference? Sympathy is all about acknowledging, where empathy is all about understanding. An example would be a doctor that's dealing with a patient. If the doctor says, "This is a hard situation, I've had many patients go through this before, and it's tough on the family," the doctor is showing sympathy. He feels badly that the person's going through this, but isn't trying to relate personally. If in turn the doctor said, "I understand how hard this is. My father had this happen, and it was very hard on me and my family," then the doctor is showing empathy. Although some might say they view sympathy negatively, like a person's pitying somebody else. But sympathy isn't negative. A person can sympathize and be sympathetic to another person, and it's anything but negative. An example would be when your friend loses an uncle. You are sympathetic that your friend lost his uncle and genuinely feel badly for them because you care about the person. But empathy would be trying to understand their loss by feeling what losing an uncle might mean to them. Another clear difference to show between sympathy and empathy is where there are three friends. Ted, who is one of the friends and is afraid of heights. However, he's stuck on a cliff and is very upset with the situation. Susan gets onto the cliff and shows empathy by feeling what Ted is and sharing it with him. She's on the cliff with him. The third friend, Tony, also feels badly for Ted, but he stays off the cliff and calls up to Ted. "I'm really sorry you're stuck up there. Is there anything I can do for you?" He cares about the situation and Ted, but he isn't trying to relate to Ted's feelings. He's being sympathetic. For someone to show empathy, a person must connect to someone by understanding their perspective. The person must recognize and feel the emotions without any judgment. It is a conscious choice because you have to connect with the person. But the real challenge for most of us is then not to try to make things better, but instead just listen, feel, and understand the person and what they're going through. So in the situation where someone is upset, they may say, "I lost my job." Don't reply with, "Well, on the bright side, you didn't like it anyway," or "I gained 5 pounds." Don't reply with, "Well, on the bright side, you still look great." "I wrecked my car." "Well, on the bright side, you still have another car." Don't use "on the bright side." That's not showing empathy. That's just trying to make him feel better and not acknowledging his feelings and trying to understand them. Empathy doesn't try to fix, judge, or direct. It just means connecting, feeling, and understanding. Putting yourself in their shoes and feeling alongside the other person. Having empathy is a key to human relationships. As in order to relate, one must have empathy. If we can't feel, then we can't relate. And if we can't relate, then we certainly can't have a good relationship. Research suggests 98% of all people have some level of empathy, and the 2% that don't would include those with psychopathic tendencies. So we all have empathy. Some might have more empathy than others, but empathy can be developed by consciously trying to understand people for who they are, not what they are, actively trying to connect. The famous line from To Kill a Mockingbird is, "You never really understand another person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it." That's empathy. So try to practice showing more empathy. Listen. Don't interrupt. Don't be distracted or distract. Don't judge. Don't try to fix. Don't hijack the conversation. Don't look on the bright side. Just listen, try to feel what the person might be feeling, and acknowledge them.